it was when, I think around 2011, 2012, the Summers wanted to cancel the best hip hop album and mix it with Kwaito and House and call it Burst Urban, Burst Urban Pop or something.
Yeah.
You know, instead of complaining, no, fuck the Summers, hey, the Summers, you know, don't know shit about hip hop. Instead of complaining, we decided to start our own shit and make our own rules. And it's been like that ever since.
1, 2.
Hey yo, I'm Rashid Kay from Thokoza East Rand, Johannesburg, and you're watching Everything South African Music.
Rashid, welcome to Everything SA Music.
Thank you for having me. What's happening?
No, we're just chilling. Can we just start with a little background story on yourself, the origin story, like where you're originally from and where were you born?
I'm originally from Thokoza East Rand.
Yeah.
You know, that's where I'm from. You know, Hidden Force, DJ Dollar, Relo, we're all from the same hood. And yeah, I started this hip hop thing very early. I think like early high school, and I grew up with the cats like Buslika. Before there was even Squatter Camp, you know, when we were like 13, 14, 15. East Rand, he was from Leondale, I was from Thokoza, and we used to play basketball together, freestyle together, all this stuff, man. And then we used to meet up with other cats from other hoods, Gandhi Square for freestyles and battles. Yeah, everybody.
What was inspiring you to get into hip hop at that time? Or what were you attracted towards? Like which type of artist or?
With hip hop, when it resonated with me, my brother tried to convert me to a hip hop head, but he was using wrong music because he was into MC Hammer. You know, I was not feeling that until a friend of mine gave me an NWA tape straight out of Compton. You know, and I was fascinated. Like, I think it was I heard swear words for the first time on a record. So people are allowed to say that, you know, like you fuck the police, I am the one, all that shit, all those songs there, you know. So I was a kid, but I was fascinated with fuck the police. I used to take the speaker out every time I see the cops just to piss them off and play fuck the police loud, you know. But with NWA, I discovered, it was later on, not during their prime. I discovered NWA later on, and when I did some research, I discovered that they had broken up. That's when I discovered Ice Cube, Dr. Dre, Eazy-E, you know, they were doing other stuff. There was no more NWA because I discovered them late, you know, and I like Dre stuff, whatever the stuff he was doing with Dead Row, Snoop, Dogg Pound, and them. And I got hooked, you know, the rest is history. And I had to go back and research more about hip hop, you know, 90s, 80s, 70s, to know the whole background, you know.
Okay, but then ever since you got hooked at that point, how do you contribute towards hip hop in your own town or wherever you're from? Like, what did you start doing? Did you start by rapping, or?
I think everyone started by rapping before they became producers or artist managers or whatever. Everyone started with rapping, so I started with rapping as well, and yeah, it was rapping and rapping and rapping until I never stopped rapping. But in 2008, Masta Ace came to South Africa. I attended the press conference, And Master Ace said something that changed my life. He said, if you're a rapper, if you can tell a story in 4 minutes, there's nothing stopping you to turn that story into a documentary, into a magazine article, into a movie, you know? So that day I went back home and I looked at my rhyme book, at all my scripts, and then I started writing articles for Hype magazine, you know, and...
Wait, but then you don't just like start writing articles for Hype magazine. How do you work your way into the people at the Hypes, for them to notice you?
They publish my articles without even meeting, because I used to email.
Oh, you just send the article.
Yeah, I just send the article, then they will edit it and place it accordingly. So, fortunately enough, when I was doing, I knew Mizi. Mizi was the chief editor.
Oh, you see, that's what I was saying. That when you had to know someone.
Yeah, so I used to, even when Simone took over, I used to send articles, they would publish them, and I would get a young 800 or 600. So that was quick money. It was better than rap money, you know, because rap money takes long. You can take 5 to 10 years before you see like your first paycheck from music or your first royalty, you know. So, and then
But like that was your first encounter with like being in the industry, and
it wasn't, because with interacting, I met Osmic, and then I became part of Back to the City, and then I was doing a lot of stuff at the same time. I became part of Back to the City, and then in 2012 we started the SA Hip Hop Awards, you know, and I became the chief editor for I Speak Hip Hop magazine. I don't know if you remember that. I became, and then I got a TV job on UTV. I was producing battle stations. I don't know if you know that. And then I produced ones and twos. I produced SHIZ, which became SHIZ Live. And then I moved. Currently I'm producing One Mic, 3 seasons deep, you know, on SABC 1. So I've been doing hip hop on magazine, radio. I started with Kozi FM doing a hip hop show. Now I'm on Metro FM every Saturday with Oskido. So I've been doing hip hop on TV, radio, magazine, as an artist with events such as Back to the City and SA Hip Hop Awards. So I've been like involved in hip hop culture entirely. Like,
was that always the plan to try out everything? Because I can imagine that most people would only want to try a few things and be like, okay, if I'm making money from this, I'm going to focus on this. Did you know that you want to try everything else?
It wasn't a plan. At first, I just wanted to be a rapper until I met Master Ace. Yeah, until he told me like, look, bruh, you can. I've produced some documentaries. If it wasn't for Master Ace, I wouldn't be a TV producer today. I wouldn't be a radio producer today.
So it was that conversation that opened up everything for you. You're like, yo, I can do whatever I want.
Yeah, I think in that room that day, I'm the only one who got the message. You know, when someone says something in passing and it sticks with you, that's what happened. You know, I was like, yo, from now on, this is what I'm going to do. And the best part about it is that I'm a reader, I'm a researcher, you know. That's why I had to go back to the 70s, studying hip hop, you know. I even wrote a thesis about the history of South African hip hop. You know, it's online if you can Google it, you know. So, yeah, I discovered when I was discussing with people, I discovered that a lot of people don't know a lot of shit, you know. So I was like, I need to do something about it, you know. You talk to someone, you would think maybe he's the only one who doesn't understand this thing. Then you talk to the next person, it's the same shit. talk to another person, it's the same shit. That's why I documented a lot of my stuff in writing, and I produced some hip hop documentaries. It wasn't just about music, like hip hop rap music took a back seat because there was a lot of things that were not covered in the culture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Besides that, we studied Kwaito, and we rectified all the mistakes
That
that Kwaito did. You know what I'm saying? Kwaito didn't have an annual festival like Back to the City. Kwaito didn't have their awards like SA Hip Hop Awards. Kwaito didn't have the magazines like Hype and I Speak Hip Hop magazine.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Kwaito didn't have blogs and websites like Slicker on Live and everything that we have now. Kwaito didn't have. And Kwaito relied on music. And as soon as people were bored with music, Kwaito died. There was no fashion, there was no slang, there was no lifestyle, it was just music. Kwaito relied on music. You know?
Do you think that's the same thing that's going to happen with Amapiano?
I'm not sure. I cannot predict that, but I've seen Amapiano. They have a lifestyle. They have their own dance moves. They didn't adopt Ispansula like Kwaito did.
Sure.
You know, they have their own. I think Amapiano are more creative than Kwaito. You know, if they're smart enough, they can last. You know. Yeah.
So like when you walked out of that room, out of that conference, what was the first things you did to ensure that you know, the first steps you took after listening to
Masta is.
Yes.
Masta is, that day, the conference was in Newtown. Took a taxi back home and I visited my rhyme book and I converted a lot of lyrics into articles, you know, and I made a lot of money with songs that never came out because I just turned that into an article and got paid, you know, and I did a lot of things, man, you know, I've been hustling and,
Sure.
you know, I remember when I met DJ Spoo at the SABC, you know what a lot of people do when they meet celebrities?
Right.
They ask for selfies.
Yeah.
You know, because they have nothing to offer. But I went to DJ Spool. I was like, yo, I'm doing SA Hip Hop Awards Back to the City and I work for this magazine. I know a lot of cool people I can bring to the show. He was presenting friends like this. I was like, yo, come see me on Monday. I went on Monday to Urban Brew. I met DJ Spool. It was done. From then on, I was the one bringing contestants to the show. Friends like this, you know, and I was bringing, just like that. Approaching someone
I
like
do this, I can help you like this.
Yeah, if you see Bonang or whoever, look at yourself and think, what can I offer her? You know, a selfie won't do shit.
It won't do nothing.
Yeah, once you work with her or him, you're gonna get thousands of pictures. You know. Not even posing. Yeah. You're gonna get a lot of pictures, but you must know your strong point and like, yo, Bonang, since you do this and that, I think I can do this and that for you. You have nothing to lose. You have nothing to lose.
If they say no,
if they say no,
cool, you just move on. It's like getting a picture. Then you can maybe ask for a picture and be like, okay.
Yeah, just move on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, talk to me about the evolution of like the SA Hip Hop Awards. What initially gave you guys that idea that, you know what, this genre, especially in South Africa, it needs its own awards show?
It was when, I think around 2011, 2012, the Summers wanted to cancel the best hip hop album and mix it with Kwaito and House and call it burst urban pop or something. Yeah. You know, instead of complaining, no, fuck the Summers, hey, the Summers don't know shit about hip hop. Instead of complaining, we decided to start our own shit and make our own rules. And it's been like that ever since.
I mean, like, what would you say were the key things that provoked you, besides that, to take action?
It's not really a provocation. We were not provoked, but we were inspired. Like, because we took a model from the BET Awards, from the Source Awards, from the Mamas. When we were doing our research, we were looking at all these awards, Like that summer thing was just the last push to say, like, okay, it's time to do this now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we had no idea. Like, we didn't know what we were doing. We would just jump into the deep end. And yeah, I remember the first event at Lyric Theatre in Bloemfontein. We were like 3 hours late and 3 to 4 hours late. And the journalists had us there. That's all they wrote about.
Where did you guys get the funding to start the first SA Hip Hop Awards?
There was no funding. It was money from the office, Ritual Media Group. Luckily, we already had Back to the City. So Back to the City was funding the awards. To a certain degree.
Ritual Media Group, Back to the City was a brand under Ritual Media Group.
Yes. Back to the City, SA Hip Hop Awards, South African Hip Hop Museum.
Yeah.
They all under our Ritual Media Group umbrella.
Yeah.
So the money from Back to the City would fund the SA Hip Hop Awards to a certain extent. Yeah,
Okay.
that's how we survived.
So Back to the City was already like popping by the time the
Back to the City started in 2007.
Yeah.
By 2012, we were on our 6th year when we started the SA Hip Hop Awards.
So tell me, how did you said it in briefing, but how did you land that position, or what happened for you to be part of Back to the City?
From knowing Osmic.
Yeah, from knowing Osmic. Osmic knew what I was capable of, Like I was saying, I was a hip hop scholar, I was a hip hop intellectual, I was everything. I studied everything. I can tell you about the first hip hop party on the 11th of August 1973. All the events up until now, because I studied. I was not there. Yeah, some of these things happened way before I was born. But you need to go back. I've seen the trend now, and it's the new wave. We don't give a fuck about what happened in the past. The new kids don't care about AMO. They don't care about POC. You don't have to listen or love their music, but you need to know your history, study the background. How this thing got here. You know what I mean? We didn't just wake up in 2013 and then there was Casper and AKA. No, there's long history before, 20 years before then.
Yeah. So what was your role when you started at Back to the City? What were you doing first when you first got there?
I was doing a lot of things, man. I was the one heading the hip hop summit. That's the educational part of hip hop, where we'd invite people from Samro, like the lawyers, because I've always been about the knowledge more than the music. I need to know what I'm doing, in terms of legalities, the business side of it, everything. So I was heading the hip hop summit. And then in 2013, I started hosting 10K challenge. That's where Big Zulu. The first one in 2013 was won by Big Zulu. That's when he was discovered. Because we have producers and rappers. The producers we had, the first winners were Select Play. Select Play is Tellerman and who's the other guy? I forgot. It's a duo of producers. Those were the first people to win that competition. I was hosting it from 2013, and I was hosting the rap battles as well. So we're all involved in everything. But we're gonna say TTP you're the stage manager. Rashid, you're gonna run the Red Bull stage or Power Play stage. Yeah, that's how we divide our roles, but we work together on everything.
I heard you mentioning Big Zulu. Did you discover him? Because I heard somewhere that you used to manage him back in the day or something like that.
Yeah, I met him in 2013. I liked his style, and we've been friends ever since. So I've been helping him out with a lot of things.
Yeah.
You know, from management to if you look at his first CD, Ushununga, there's my email address there for bookings because I was handling his paperwork and a whole lot of stuff. I still help him now, but I'm not like
Heavily involved.
I'm not heavily involved, you know. But yeah, we've been together ever since for like 7 years now.
Yeah.
You seeing him having the biggest song in the country right now, what does it do for you? Like, do you have a sense of pride, you know, knowing that?
Of course I do. Of course I do. You know, I'm proud of everyone I work with, man. Like from Gigi Lamaine to Big Zulu, you know. And right now I'm working with Lendrose. I think he's the next big thing. I don't know if you know Lendrose. He dropped a song rapping in 7 languages. You know, you must look him up. Yeah, look him up. I think he's the next big thing. You know, so I'm very happy, man, for Big Zulu. You know, it was hard. It was never this easy.
He's being grinded.
You know, he's being grinded. I remember I used to call people asking for features like big artists, and they were like, nah. You know, now it's them calling him. They wanna be on the song. Like, okay, it's like that now. You know.
Oh yeah, you said you don't want the remix for the song. You prefer it not to happen.
What can you do? What can you do with the remix?
I mean, the song was already huge.
It's huge. The song is on the good level.
Yeah.
You didn't need a remix for that. You didn't need a remix. Who is he gonna feature? Up and coming artist.
Yeah.
He's already had Ricky Rick, Questa, Casper Nyovest, Youngster, Zakwe. Who is he gonna feature?
That's a good point.
You know? He's had everyone on his songs. You can't recycle features. You can't feature the same people again. You know, the song is huge. It doesn't need a remix. Trust me.
Yeah.
That's why Maraza didn't do remix for Guan.
Yeah, quite.
Questa didn't do a remix for Good. You know, there's nothing you can do to top this up.
What do you think of the state of SA hip hop in December of 2020?
It's quite good. It's forever changing, and that's growth. You know, whether you like it or not. You know, people can drop songs you don't like. You know, but that's growth.
Do you agree with the belief that the SA hip hop artists should find their own sound in their cultural background instead of copying what's going on overseas? Well, where do you stand with that?
Not everyone is doing that. Not everyone is doing that. It's just that the focus, the so-called big artists you focus to, they borrow a lot from the States. Yeah. You know? But Big Zulu is authentic. Big Zulu is authentic. Black Diamond is authentic.
Sure.
You know, what's his name? Raf. Yeah. With the 1020 cartel. Their sound is authentic. It's just that people wanna hear shit that sounds like Drake, shit that sounds like Young Thug. That's not our sound. So you that's not it's easier for that shit to get to radio because it sounds familiar. Yeah. Drake already has a hit that sounds like that. Pop Smoke already has a hit that sounds like that. So it's familiar to the ear. But there's a lot of people that we don't pay attention to who are giving us who are showing us the right direction. People like Big Zulu. You know what I'm saying? Zakwe and Duncan, they just dropped an album. You know, amazingly South African, telling South African stories. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying people should rap in vernac. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying people should use South African sounds, be original, and tell South African stories. Okay. You know? Yeah. Like even the references. You can use Brenda Fassie, Miriam Makeba, Lucky Dube. We are rich when it comes to references. You know, don't use similes and metaphors about Rosa Parks. South Africans don't know who the fuck that is.
Yeah.
You know, because you know a bit of American history. Don't tell us about Bloods and Crips. It's not our shit. You know what I mean? We can rap in English, but tell South African stories. Use South African references. People think when you say South African, like, no, Nasty can't rap in Vernac. We're not saying he must rap in Vernac.
But then, like, do you feel like he didn't do justice with the name of his tape being Zulu Man with Some Power, but then it seemed like it was catering to an American audience, or just say the Western audience?
I wouldn't say he catered for American audience. I would say he was thinking the world. He wasn't thinking South Africa.
Yeah.
He was thinking the world. You know. Even so, you can still tell South African stories. You know, Burna Boy is telling Nigerian stories, but it's like the whole world can hear him, can understand, you know, can learn a thing or two about Nigeria. You know, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he should rap in Zulu for him to call it Zulu melody. No. You know what I mean? He need that South African, even though it's not Zulu as such, he need that South African identity. You know, I saw his DVD. He went to Japan, recorded on Netflix. Yeah, he recorded with Japanese kids who were rapping in Japanese, and he was rapping in English. You know what I'm saying? He's from Africa. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but what I'm saying is Japanese kids didn't feel the need or the pressure to rap in English. You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, like, where do you think we're going in terms of the state of our identity in the music industry? Are we getting better, or it's, you know, a little bit getting worse now?
We would get better,
Yeah.
and then get 3 times worse. Take a step forward and then 3 steps backwards. The thing is, we do not learn. Our history teaches us. Our history tells us. I tweeted about this, I think it was last night or today, this morning, that the biggest hip-hop songs in South African history are South African sounding songs that South Africans can relate to. From Umoya to Boso Kimang to Mhlobo Wami to Make a Circle Bigger to Karakara to Dog Shebeleza to Sidlukotini to Bozonke to Roll Up to Ngudu to Imali Ning right now. All those songs are South Africans. There's no rap songs bigger than that in this country. They all have South African reference like Dog Shebeleza. They all have South African beats like Ngudu. They all have South African stories, you know, like Sidlukotini, Bozonke, Imali Ning. All South Africans relate to that. Let's talk to our people before we target Americans. I don't even think they care about us.
Do you think there's been a disconnect with the new wave kids and trying to push that Western sound, which has made way for like the Amapiano, which is more authentic and like cultural to us? Do you think that's where the disconnect happened?
The disconnect is between the OGs and the youngins. You know, we don't educate these kids, and then we blame them when they look up to Drake. You know, when they look up to Pop Smoke, when they look up to Young Thug, we don't educate them about the culture. You know what I mean? That's why Chain Eagle can talk to Scoop and say, you're not even verified. You know, Nasty C can call Nota, you're an old man. You know, there's no connection, there's no communication. You know. It's not there. most of the OGs are bitter because they broke, and most of these kids are big-headed because they're making this money. Like, you're not gonna tell me I made it without you. I'm making this money, so fuck you, old ass nigga. You know. So there's that thing. There's that animosity between the young and the old. You know what I'm saying? So we need a union. You need one movement.
Sure.
You know, because when you start bringing labels, say new wave, old school, you're creating a division between Nasty C and Stogie T. You know, because of age. They can be on the same song doing the same music, but because it's done by a kid, you're gonna call it a new wave. Because Stogie T is old, you're gonna say this music is old school, but it's the same shit.
It's still the same thing.
Yeah.
But like you guys are like, I would say you're the first generation to get in South Africa to get old from hip hop, like the first.
Nah.
Like before that.
We're not that old. There's POC. There was hip hop in Cape Town before there was hip hop in Joburg.
But then that's the first generation of them to get old. Now there's the newer old people.
And I don't think they blew up the way like your generation blew up with the squatter camps and stuff.
They blew up even more, but not in South Africa. You know, POC, if you study, they were touring with Public Enemy, with James Brown. They had a world tour. How many local acts had a world tour? We get little fame here and think we're larger than life. No. You know, Ben Sharper used to tour Europe for 7 months. But because he was not popular, there are people who are popular but they ain't shit. You know, but they haven't done shit on the international scale. You know, Godessa used to tour overseas. The first female crew in SA. You know, we don't study. We don't know what we need to know. You know what I mean? In 1993, Age of Truth, the album by POC, was banned by FW de Klerk's government because they had influence. They were large. You know what I mean? We think these new cats who are big now because they're on radio every day, they're the first one to do shit. No. They're not. They know everything that's happening now has already been done.
The foundation has been laid.
Yes. Squatter Camp had their own sneakers. Square, SK Wear. They had endorsement with Kappa. You know, they had international features. Everything that's happening now, it was done before. You know, it's just that there was no Facebook. People who are doing these things now, they trend, and then we think, yo, so-and-so is the first one to do it. No.
Yeah.
All this shit has been happening.
Okay, let's talk about the BASE hottest MCs list. What are your thoughts on the list that came out a week ago? So Busiswa in the, couple of names that exist that you usually wouldn't find on a hip-hop list. Do you have any thoughts on that?
The top 10 people are pushing their own agendas. You know. That's why I'll never be part of it again until they change the criteria. I've been there like twice. Yeah. You know, it made me look bad because I was following the criteria. And people who are watching, they think, why are you choosing this guy over that guy? No, the criteria is already channeling you to a certain direction.
What's the criteria though?
You know, if you're gonna look at endorsements, you're gonna look at all other shit besides the music, automatically you're gonna rule out people like Stogie T, people like Zagwe, all the dope cats that have no endorsements, you know, all the dope cats that have no 1 million views on YouTube. You know, you're gonna use that as your argument. You know what I mean? And forget about the music. You know, I even wrote a criteria that I suggested. It's online. 20 effective methods to judge the greatest MC. You Google that, you'll find it. You know, I wrote that myself. I came up with like 20 points. This is what you need to look at. 1, 2, 3, up until 20. If you can use that criteria, you won't go wrong. You know.
So this one was just Nota just bullying everybody on the panel and just doing it his own way, né?
Yeah. He was. You must understand that Nota is best friends with Yanga.
That's what I was saying.
You know, he was saying number one Yanga, number one Yanga.
It's his own agenda, like what
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the orchard, his
the distribution company.
The distribution company is head of distributes Busiswa.
Yeah.
You know, so there's conflict of interest there. You know. It's like you putting me there. And I'm like, Big Zul, I'm pushing for Big Zul, I'm pushing for my friend.
Yeah.
You know, it's not done like that. It's not done like that. You need to be fair when it comes to this thing. You know, they cheated on Nadia. They cheated on Rouge. They cheated on all the hard-working female MCs.
And then Busiso was like, I'm not even a rapper. I don't know why you put me on this.
Let alone a rapper. That thing is an MC. Anyone can be a rapper, but it takes a certain skill to be an MC. MCing is an element of hip-hop. The original first 5 elements, MCing, breakdancing, beatboxing, DJing, and graffiti. Those are the first. There's no rapping there. There's no rapper. There's MCing, MCs. Because you need to reach a certain level of rapping to be an MC. You know, now these people are shitting on the hip-hop culture.
What do you think? What do you think of the SA hip hop projects that dropped this year? From the top of my mind, the big ones we of course have Casper's Any Minute Now, Nasty C, Zuluman and Some Power. We have, Yanga. There's a lot of people that dropped. But what did you think of the project?
It's different strokes for different folks, man. Like I buy everything that comes out, man. I'm not a hater.
Yeah.
You see, I have Boy D, I have Duncan Zagwe, I have Java, I have Flame. I have all the albums that came out, all the South African.
Which one did you enjoy the most?
I enjoyed Flame. I like Boy D's EP. I like Duncan and Zagwe. I like Casper, Any Minute Now. I partly like Nasty C, you know, Zuluman with Some Power. There's tracks I like. Yeah. And AKA's project, I think there's 1 or 2 tracks that I like. Yeah, but I listen to everything and I buy everything. I'm not a hater and I'm not a groupie.
Okay, so with you listening to those tracks, let's go to Any Minute Now and Bovamania. Would you say a scoop statement of telling the artists which have been in the game for a while to just take a break, you know, refresh, re-energize, and come back, you know? In terms of that project, listening to that project, do you think they gave their best?
You can't tell an artist what to do. Even an artist can't tell himself what to do because it's creativity. If you feel creative, you can drop 2 projects in a year, like P.O. It dropped 2 albums this year. You cannot tell an artist that's too much. You need to take a break. No. It's all about creativity, how you feel at the time. You know what I mean? You can, if you take a break, you can come back worse than before. Who says you'll be great after 2 years? You know, and this is the new era. There's like songs every day. 3 months later, 6 months later, we forgot about you. We want some new shit. You know, so there's no time limit. You can drop a new song now and drop another song next week. You know, Stogie used to drop freestyles every week. Who said he must take a break? That was great. That was amazing. He did a great job. You know, his freestyles were dope. So you can't control the artist's creativity, and you can't time it. You know, that's my opinion.
Do you think that the SA Hip Hop Awards, what do you think about the politics that go in at the SA Hip Hop Awards? Do you guys think you always get them right every year, or do you make your own mistakes too?
When it comes to awards,
No, it's fine. I was just going to.
okay. When it comes to awards, one thing you need to understand, you can't please everyone.
Yeah, that's a number.
You know, you let AKA win. He's a Legacy. You let Casper win, or he's a TBBN. You'll never win. You can't please everyone. We just look at the numbers, but all things that we need to look at, you know. And another thing that people always get wrong is thinking that we decide. None of us at Ritual Media Group is part of the judges, but it's people in the industry. Every category has different judges, you know.
Every single category
has different judges. We have like hip hop journalists, we have bloggers, we have people like Slicker, Miss Cosmo, DJ K Easy. You know, those are some of the judges for certain categories. You know, what I'm saying is it's people out there from the record labels, from the media industry, you know, retired rappers from the old school. We use everyone. We involve everyone in the judging system. Stop saying you guys are giving awards to. No, we don't judge. We don't decide who wins. We facilitate the whole process.
Like, I know that you dropped a tape a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how's that one going?
Pretty good. Pretty good, actually. I dropped the album called The Masterclass. It's actually my third official album. I have Once Upon a Rhyme 2016, The K Word 2018, and then now 2020, The Masterclass. Yeah, I do music that I would listen to. I'm not even chasing radio. That's why when you listen to my content, you can get something like too extreme political. Like on my previous album, I had a song with Black Lives and Big Zulu called Bring Back Our Land, you know, addressing issues. I would talk about what's happening at the time, like fees must fall, you know. I'm not going to the studio like, yo, I need a hit song, I need a radio track. I'm like, okay, I got something to say. That's why I'm approaching this whole thing, you know. So yeah, been on tour, the Masterclass tour, alongside AB Crazy, Big Zulu, Chet the Don, supporting me. So it's been great, you know what I mean. So, and yeah, Nota and I come from way back. Nota is my guy. He may say some shit about me. I may say some shit about him. But we're boys. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. There's no fuck Nota. Like, I'm gonna be like, Nota is talking shit there. Nota is wrong there. He says some shit about me too. And he would call me. He would stay on the phone like for an hour. So me and Nota are cool. I respect him as a person and what he's done, and I respect his opinions, even though I don't agree with most of them. But it's all love. It's all for the game.
But tell me, like, for him to say a statement like he created hip hop,
I think he was joking.
You're saying it in the moment.
I think Nota, he knows deep down in his heart he didn't create SA Hip Hop. As much as we do a lot of things like Back to the City, SA Hip Hop Awards, this and that, we cannot claim SA Hip Hop. You know, Nota was born in 1990. That's when the first POC album came out. When did he start SA Hip Hop? You know, POC was formed in 1988. Black Noise was formed in 1982. Karamo dropped a hip hop album in 1991. You know, POC dropped another album in 1993 that was banned Age of Truth, when Nota was 3. You know, Bob Mabena won a summer in 1994. Nota was 4. you know, there was Lit Club in 1994, 95, 96. Nota was a toddler. You know, Rap Activity Jam started in 1997 on YFM. Nota was 7. When did he start as a hip hop? You know?
Yeah.
I hope he was joking.
Yeah.
Because there's no such thing, man.
He says stuff like that, and sometimes you just ask yourself, like, is he actually being serious? Or
People are going to believe him, and that's going to distort the South African history, and it's not true.
But like when it comes to like commentators and I would say influential people in the music industry,
Yeah.
when they say such things like that, is like because they're not regulated. Artists get regulated by fans, you know. They don't have anyone they care about like as fans. So
Most of the fans don't care about the culture or the hip hop in general. If you call yourself Legacy, you're not a hip hop fan, you're an AK fan or groupie. If you call yourself a TBBN, you don't care about the culture. You're a Casper groupie. You know what I'm saying? We don't have a lot of people who deeply invested into the culture. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We have people serving their own agendas. You know?
Yeah.
If I'm a TBBN, I'm not gonna see or say anything wrong about Casper. Because I'm a groupie. If I call myself a Legacy, I'm not gonna criticize AKA. You know? He can tweet a dot and get 1 million likes because of the Legacy groupies. You know what I'm saying? So we need people who are fully invested into the culture. Who are gonna say, Rashid, you're talking shit. Rashid, you're wrong here. You know, how many people came out, confronted Nota and say, no, nigga, you didn't start SA Hip Hop. This is when SA Hip Hop started. This is when you were born. This is when you got involved. Because people don't know. They don't even know what happened with Pro Kid 10 years ago in 2010. You know, how the fuck are they gonna go back to 1986 or 1982? People don't wanna read. We don't have students of the culture. We don't have hip hop scholars. You know what I mean? So whatever the social media influencers say, we welcome with open arms, even when they talk bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, like being in a position that you are doing so many things, doesn't it get a little bit like you become like you monopolize hip hop, you know, for you and your group of people that you know?
Ritual Media Group is not monopolizing hip hop. We have this thing. If we're not doing it, nobody's gonna do it. Ritual Store started in 2001. 6 years later, 2007, there was Back to the City. 6 years after that, in 2012, nobody was doing anything. We started SA Hip Hop Awards. 2018, 6 years after that, we started SA Hip Hop Museum. It's not like we were like, we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4 at the same time to monopolize the industry. No, there's 6 years with every project. There's 6 years in between. Within that 6 years, nobody's doing anything or anything similar. You know what I'm saying? So you can never say these guys are monopolizing the industry. You know, maybe 6 years from now we're gonna have a hip hop radio station, like 100% hip hop radio station. In 6 years from now, nobody's doing it. When we do that, you guys are monopolizing the industry.
Have you heard that comment before though about you guys just like trying to be the ultimate gatekeepers?
Yeah, a lot of people feel that way, but it's mainly people who are not doing anything.
Yeah.
Like the armchair critics. The armchair critics.
There's no people who have stuff going on.
Yeah, it's mainly Twitter fingers. Ask that person, what have you done for hip hop lately? You know, we're doing a festival for the culture. back to the city, from the underground
That's
to the
lasted
mainstream.
for so long. Yeah.
From the underground to the mainstream. You know, there's a lot of tours where people are doing shit for their friends or with their friends. You know, you have the Iverson tour, it's Nasty C and his friends. You have the Yellow tour, it's Shane Eagle and his friends. You have Aries and his friends. You know, they're doing it for themselves. That's not for the culture. Back to the city is for the culture. You know, Cotton Fest is for the culture. You know, we need things like that. Not you and your group of friends. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said earlier, we need people, we need soldiers who are fully invested into the culture. You know? Yeah. That's why we're doing we're building hip hop museum. Something that's gonna live hundreds of years to come, long after we're gone. Because it's not for us, it's for the culture. We're documenting our own shit. If we don't document, our shit is gonna be distorted. And then Nota's gonna come and say, I started SA Hip Hop. Yeah. And you're gonna believe him.
Yeah. So tell me, in a position like that, how do you avoid, because they say with great power comes great responsibility, how do you avoid that it doesn't go corrupt? Because it's eventually, you know, people have their own agendas, you know, people have their people they know, and the main people that came with the idea with the hopes of taking it somewhere are not necessarily going to be there. How do you avoid that? That's what I'm asking.
Because it's a team. Like if you have 14 people, we sit the whole night debating. You know, that's why you can't buy the award. You know, because it has to go through round table. 14 people have to agree, or the majority. You know what I'm saying? Everything is debated. You cannot corrupt us. It's not a one-man decision. You cannot corrupt us. Maybe in future when we're no longer there, you know, when there's a drug cartel that can pay everyone $1 million each or 5 million each. Sure. Maybe in the future, I'm not saying it's going to be like that forever, but right now it's impossible to corrupt us.
Okay, let's just take it back to you. Like, I would like you to send a message to yourself, looking at this camera 10 years from now, speaking to yourself. What would you like to say to yourself?
Talking to myself 10 years from now.
The other guy is looking at you and you're the other guy looking at yourself.
Hey, yo, Rashid Kay, it's 2030, 10 years ago or 15 years ago. You should have built a school for hip hop, or you should have lectured at university about SA hip hop. I hope you wrote that book you started. I hope it's published now. But all in all, great job you did.